Another residential school has been identified as having potential unmarked graves of children who attended the Garrard Mission and St. Bernard's Indian Residential School, operated from 1872 to 1961. In October, the Institute of Prairie and Indigenous Archaeology from the University of Alberta used ground-penetrating radar and drones on 1 acre of the former residential school. Their results: 129 sites with probable graves, 32 possible locations, and 8 likely locations. 107 of the 169 probable graves were found at the community cemetery. Dr. Keisha Supernaut from the University of Alberta is Métis and led the search.
We do not need ground-penetrating radar results to know that children didn't come home from this school. The knowledge of survivors and the extensive archival records already contain clear information about children dying while in residence here. The use of ground-penetrating radar and related techniques are being used to try to identify where these children are buried, including those who may not be in those records.
Dr. Supernaut says she discovered during her research that she had family who never returned from that residential school.
As someone whose family members are in the records of the children who died at the school, I feel the pain of loss of those who should have been my aunties and uncles. Each of these children was a beloved part of a family, and no one has been held accountable for their deaths.
Chief Sidney Halcrow of the Kapawe'no First Nation told those gathered that this discovery of unmarked graves will need a lot of healing.
The grief we felt when discovering our stolen children has opened fresh wounds. We remember the desolation of our people felt when our children were forcibly removed from their families, communities, to be placed in Indian residential schools. I would like to honor all the elders, survivors, who bravely shared their truth with us. Truths that were not believed or acknowledged for many, many years.
They're at birth.
Treaty 8 First Nations of Alberta Grand Chief Arthur Noski called residential schools genocide.
Imagine sending your child to school one day, only to never see them again. When you inquire, you are refused an explanation as to where your child is or if they are even alive. Imagine your child is missing after being sent to school. No one is looking for them, and no one seems to be bothered to care. How would you cope? What would you do?
Upcoming searches will include a nearby Anglican church, the Indian agents, and the Northwest Mounted Police buildings. Noski says that the graves may not be exhumed and will discuss the possibility of that with leaders and elders. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.